We begin with candy melts that pour nicely into a mold and create fun shapes for your cupcakes. I love a good shortcut, and so I used a cake mix in this video. That is pretty customary for me, unless I'm really in a baking mood, which is rare. And I got out my double boiler. This is what I am going to melt my candy chips in. It comes with a few pieces, and I'll show you how it works. I begin by pouring water into the bottom pot. And this is going to create my steam. Now, I place the steaming basket in the center, and on top of that, the top portion, which will hold the candy. Now, I opted to go with the salted caramel variety, and as I was looking at the chips, I began to notice an unusual color, and had I done it all over again, I would probably go back and use the vanilla or even strawberry, some other prettier color. Place the lid on top. Now that double boiler is starting to steam up a bit. I'm going to stir it just to make sure that I don't burn anything, which is the point of the double boiler to begin with. However, it will also speed up the process if you grab a spoon and stir it. It actually does not take very long to melt these down. I've got the heat on about a medium setting. Of course, that will vary depending upon your equipment. And if you don't have a double boiler, there are microwave instructions on how you can easily melt these chips without the use of the stove. Again, the more I stirred these, the less I was 100% in love with the color. I must say it was a bit unappealing, but for Halloween, unappealing is definitely allowed and in some cases preferred. As you can see, I rolled with it and it turned out okay. So I pulled these molds from the closet. Some of these came from a box of Jell-O, such as these. And some of them I already had from trips to the soap store or the candle store, like this one. And in the end, I decided on a brain mold. I got this at Walmart. I think it was 98 cents. I'm pretty sure it was less than $1 investment. And it's appropriate for the theme. So, in spite of the gnarly color here, I decided to continue on with the salted caramel. And I did make a little bit of a mess, but it wasn't too bad. I was surprised at the amount of playtime that this medium allows for. Some of these candy chips tend to harden really quickly, and this one allowed a little bit of pliability, and it did not cool off too quickly, and I liked that. Once I filled the mold, I put it to the side to allow it to harden. Now, if you're pressed for time, you can always stick it in the refrigerator or even the freezer if you so choose. I simply sat it to the side of the counter, and that worked out just fine for me. This is my trusty mixer, passed down from my dear grandmother, and I swear I can't live without it. I recommend it to anyone. Here's my cake mix that I showed you. Pouring it in, it's vanilla cake mix, or any kind you like. You can do a yellow or a chocolate is definitely appropriate here, especially if you like the spookier Halloween vibe to your cupcakes. Next, I'll add the ingredients that the box says. Here's some water. You can also add the oil of your choosing. To be honest, I don't remember which I ended up going with, but there are several options. I'll let that be your decision. The mix calls for egg whites, so I separate those by cracking them into a small glass bowl. You can also opt for pre-made egg whites. I know those are popular now and lots of people buy them. I buy the old-fashioned eggs like these, and I simply crack the amount that I need, and then I use a small measuring cup to remove the yolks one by one. This is the part where you can get little helpers involved if you have them. It's a bit easier than you think it is. You simply grab the yolk like so, and you'll be surprised at how easily it detaches from the rest of the mix. And I'm pouring that into my cake batter. The box says to start on a low speed, and after about 30 seconds to 1 minute, you're going to switch it into a high gear, if you will. Now, this can be anywhere from medium to high speed. That's going to depend on your equipment. Speaking of which, I'll take this time now to tell you about the mixer itself. It is a KitchenAid stand mixer, and like I mentioned prior, it is a bit of an older model, passed down to me, yet it works like a dream. And I've made everything from bubble bars to body butters to mashed potatoes with this, and I must say I'm a bit obsessed. For this purpose, I'm using the whisk attachment, and as you can see, we have sped it up to about a level 4 here, but it goes much faster and really tends to get the job done. I know that my cupcake pan has seen better days, but can we please refrain from the commentary on that? It was the only one I could find, and I tend to use liners, but you can also opt for greasing the pan using anything from butter to Crisco to olive oil, or even some type of non-stick spray if that's what you like. I know that many of you prefer the more eco-friendly method, and some of you have educated me on some best practices for that, and I love it. However, I have about 2 million cupcake liners to be put into use, and that's what I'll use here, and you be the judge for yourself. Now, I will dip this goop into these little cups very gently here. One fun variation would be to alternate a chocolate and vanilla cake mix in your cupcakes. You could also use food coloring in the batter to create a holiday vibe, say purple or even black. It should be fairly easy to find these items around the house. If you are making these with children present, this is a great step that they can help out with, as it doesn't involve the use of the oven or any sharp tools or knives, and they often want to get their hands dirty, so to speak. So this is the part that essentially can't be messed up. Moving on, this is one frosting option that can make things very simple for you if you find it a challenge to frost cupcakes like I do. This bag comes preloaded, complete with the tip, so it's pretty difficult to mess it up. Now you begin by kneading the bag. This will soften up the product a bit. You may notice it becoming more pliable. Now you can skip this step if you tend to do better with a thicker frosting. Again, you'll just knead it and work it up into the plastic tip. And I picked up this black icing. This one's got a much more narrow tip, perfect for detail work. If you wanted to use letters, for example. Of course, eyeballs are on the menu. We've got to fulfill our mandatory strangeness factor, and you will find several different options for this if you shop on the Halloween aisles at your local supermarket. And obviously, candy corn are the classic treat for Halloween, no matter how you look at it, whether you like them or not. Oh, and take a look at these adorable pot holders I found. They are only 88 cents at your local Walmart, and this is not a commercial for Walmart, but I love these, and so I wanted to show them off. There's a squirrel on this oven mitt. How adorable is that? Okay, back to our regularly scheduled programming. This is an orange frosting that is perfect for cupcakes. It is vanilla flavored with some orange coloring. And as you can see, it comes along with these sprinkles for topping cupcakes or sugar cookies or even a cake if you so choose. And there we have it. It's a nice orange, festive, beautiful Halloween color. And fresh from the oven are our vanilla cupcakes. I have allowed them to cool sufficiently, so we will begin by frosting with the ready-made vanilla frosting I showed you earlier. You can see that I'm taking my time and going in circles, which I have learned gives me the best result as far as symmetry and just a lack of mess in general. Of course, we need the eyeball to complete the look here. I'll go in again this time. I'm going to switch it up a bit. I will place my vanilla frosting and a nice little divot in the top there. Now I'll place a candy corn or the candy of your choosing, anything that you prefer really. You can also let the children select a candy type. You can put berries, different fruits on top. Here we will go in with the orange tinted option from earlier. This one requires a knife and a little bit of handiwork, if you will. Once you practice it, you will get it down, and you may have a few duds, as did I, but you will get a technique settled on. And some sprinkles for that added effect. Now, the best part about messing up the frosting is that someone has to then eat those mistakes. And here we go again, around in a circle, round and round. If you mess up, don't worry about it. You see my little holes, and I go back and I fill them in, and I don't worry much about it. I can hear the sprinkles coming, and there they are. I'm taking the black from earlier and forming a precise outline. You could also do someone's name or the first letter of their name. Now I'll place a small bit of frosting in the center, and I will use this as an adherent. Here comes my candy on top. I hope that this video has bored you to sleep and you have sweet dreams, because I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.